Good morning and welcome to our first class of chapter on cells. So my dear class 9 boys, as we begin our first chapter on cells, let us have a close look at what are cells all about. Cells are tiny living units that living organisms are made of. We have different types of cells. First, we have the unicellular organisms. In unicellular organism, the whole organism is made up of just one cell. Examples of such unicellular organisms are amoeba, bacteria. Moving from unicellular organism, we go to multicellular organisms, just like all of us. And in multicellular organisms, the whole organism is made up of millions of cells. So what is a cell? A cell is the structural and the functional unit of all living organisms. It is the basic unit of life. If we look into the history of cells, we see that the first living cell was observed by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. And it was Robert Hooke who termed this or coined the term cell. Let's have a small peek into the cell theory. All living organisms are composed of one or more cells. Thus, a cell is both the structural and the functional unit of living beings. We all know that new cells arise from the existing old ones. And thus, here is a close view of how cells of different types are there on our planet. Cells are very, very microscopic to those which are visible. To begin with, we have an electron orbits the atom. Then we have a small molecule, the DNA molecule. Then a cell such as a virus, which has been causing such a big hue and cry nowadays by the pandemic of the coronavirus. So here we have a virus which is even smaller than bacteria. So if you see a virus, it is microns, 10 to the power of minus 8 microns. So it is negligible. You cannot see it with the naked eye, neither can you see it with a light microscope. A virus is only visible by an electron microscope. Hence, it becomes such an invisible enemy. So we need to take all the necessary precautions because we cannot see where it is. Moving away from virus, we then go on to bacteria. Bacteria we'll be studying is a unicellular organism. And from bacteria, we then move on to different types of cells. So what is inside a cell, we'll have a look at it. Then as we move on this whole scale, and we see how size increases. Now, the smallest cell is a pneumonia-like organism, which is 0.1 micron in diameter. And you'll be surprised, the largest cell is the ostrich egg. Each and every egg is an individual cell. Cells have different shapes and sizes. So, when we look at the different shapes of the cells, we have elliptical, spindle shape, cuboidal, polygonal, columnar, and flat. Can we imagine if all the cells were of the same shape? You can imagine how we all be looking like. Hence, in order to bring the variety and the beauty in every organism, shapes are different, cells have different shapes. So accordingly, each and every part of our body can be filled and made up of that particular cell. When we look at cells, we say the cells are basically of two types: prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. prokaryotic cell, primitive. The word P for prokaryotic cell, P for primitive. So let us have a look at a prokaryotic cell. Which are the characteristics? Number one, nucleus is not well organized. Cell organelles are absent. No nuclear membrane. Hence the nuclear region is known as nucleoid because there is no fixed nucleus. The whole region is spread all over the cell. Examples of a prokaryotic cell: bacteria and blue-green algae. So here we have a prokaryotic cell. So we have a nucleoid. The whole cell is in a capsule-like structure. We have a tail-like structure over here, which is known as a flagellum, which moves and helps the cell to move forward. So this is a prokaryotic cell. All bacteria, algae, blue-green algae belong to this category of cells. Then we move on to the next type. And the next type is the eukaryotic cell. The eukaryotic is more advanced than the prokaryotic. It has a well-defined nucleus. All the cell organelles are present. Nuclear membrane is present, and it is present in most of us as well as in plants. So all plant and animal kingdom is made up of an eukaryotic cell. So an eukaryotic cell, that is a cell in each and every part of our body, is made up of a nucleus, a well-defined cell membrane with all the different cell organelles. Now we come to look at the different types of organelles in the cell. We begin from the outside and we move inside. To begin with, we have the cytoplasm. When we fill a balloon which is inflated, we blow it and the balloon takes a shape. The shape of the balloon is due to the air in the balloon. Similarly, in a cell, we cannot fill air, so there is cytoplasm. So what is cytoplasm? It is a matrix which fills the cell and gives it a shape. So a cytoplasm is a jelly-like, transparent and granular. It contains all the different organelles. It is like the water in the fish tank, and all the different fish are swimming in that tank due to the presence of water. We remove water, all life is destroyed. Similarly, cytoplasm. On the outer surface of the cytoplasm, it is bounded by a membrane called the plasma membrane. Thin outer boundary of cytoplasm. In plants, it is surrounded by an additional wall which gives it the form and the rigidity, and this is known as a cell wall. As we move inside, the most important, the brain of the cell, is the nucleus. The nucleus is surrounded by a membrane which is known as a nuclear membrane. Both the nucleus and the cytoplasm together is known as protoplasm. Very often, students confuse by what is protoplasm and what is cytoplasm. So protoplasm is a bigger umbrella containing both the cytoplasm and the nucleus. Hence, we need to see protoplasm forms the physical basis of life. And here are the characteristics of protoplasm. It is complex, granular, transparent. When you heat it, it swells up. So it coagulates on heating. It exists in a very colloidal form. In physics, you will learn what is colloids. Colloids is not pure liquid. It has a lot of substance in it, like a glue. So it is in colloidal form. It is permeable. Particles of protoplasm are in a constant state of movement. And protoplasm composition, we see it is made up of water, that is 75% of water, 2 to 10% of proteins, and so on and so forth. So this is what protoplasm is all about. Now we will study a plant cell. So first we look at the plant cell. Our whole planet is surviving, and we too are dependent on plants. A plant cell is made up of the following plants. We have the basic cell wall, then all the organelles and the nucleus. So this is a plant cell. This, on the other hand, is what we are made up of, the animal cell. The animal cell has no cell wall. It also has one or two different organelles than the plant cell, which we'll be looking into detail further on. Let's have a look at the different parts of the cell. To begin with, we have the cell wall, that is in the plant cell. Cell membrane or plasma membrane, which is present in both the plant cell as well as in the animal cell. Mitochondria, which is the powerhouse. The endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi bodies, plastids, lysosome, which is in the animal cell, ribosomes, centrosomes, nucleus, chromosomes, vacuoles, and all the different things that are present in the cell, like vitamins, oil, minerals, fat globules. These are known as cell inclusions. We come to this point of plasma membrane, and here we'll take a small break before we proceed further.
Start.
We now come to plasma membrane. Plasma membrane lies on the inner side of the cell wall. It is living, delicate, elastic, semi-permeable. Semi, that means it does not allow everything to pass through, but only certain molecules are allowed to pass through. It is made up of lipids and proteins known as lipoproteins. In animal cells, it forms the outermost boundary. There is no cell wall in animal cells. In animal cell, it forms a boundary, whereas in plant cell, it is soon after the cell wall. The functions acts as a boundary, so it gives you support and protection, and also allows passage of certain molecules or ions. Cell wall. Cell wall is on the outer side of the plasma membrane. As you see, the red highlighted and the yellow line is a membrane, and the red outer rigid form is a cell wall. Non-living boundary wall outside the membrane. It is present only in the plant cell, composed of cellulose. Herbivores, cows, goats, deers, they have a bacteria in the stomach which can digest cellulose, which we cannot. Hence, we have to depend on them to get the material and the nutrition which is digested by the herbivores. In fungus or fungi, the cell wall is made up of chitin. The function, it gives a rigidity and the shape to the cell, and it also protects the cell. We then move on to cytoplasm. And as we notice, it occupies the major part of the cell. It is the living component of the cell. It consists of transparent semi-fluid substance. 90% of cytoplasm is of water, and the other 10% is made up of proteins, carbohydrate, fats. All the reactions and metabolic activities in the cell takes place in cytoplasm. And finally, the different cell organelles are present inside the cytoplasm. Functions, or it houses the different organelles and helps in the metabolic activities. Mitochondria. It is a sausage-shaped, double-walled. The inner part of the mitochondria has finger-like processes which is known as cristae. And the whole organelle is filled with a matrix. It's one of the most important organelle of cell because it is known as the powerhouse of the cell. It produces energy in the form of ATP. It is found in a eukaryotic cell. If you remember, there were two types of cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. So it is present in the eukaryotic cell. It is rod-shaped, double membrane, inner as well as outer. The inner membrane has a number of finger-like pores called cristae. Cristae, and small particles along the cristae like a badminton racket, which we call the F1 particles. Functions of mitochondria: it helps in the cellular respiration and it stores the energy. So it is the energy house. It is the power supply unit of the cell. It produces energy in the form of ATP, the full form of which is adenosine triphosphate, ATP. We then move on to ribosomes. They are small ball-like structures, spherical granules, and they are scattered all over cytoplasm. When we study endoplasmic reticulum, we will study there are two types of reticulum, smooth and rough. The rough endoplasmic reticulum is due to the presence of these ribosomes. It is the site of protein synthesis. It is the place where protein synthesis occurs. There you are. So, function of ribosome is protein synthesis. As we had said, we have endoplasmic reticulum. In short, we call it the ER. Endoplasmic reticulum, as we notice over here, it stretches from the nucleus till the boundary. It is the skeletal framework of the cell. It helps in transportation and also helps in maintaining the structure of the cell. So it is a network of tubules, may be rough or may be smooth. As we say, this is the smooth one. You see the red dot moving. And if ribosomes are present on the walls, then it becomes rough. So these are the endoplasmic reticulums with ribosomes. So it is known as rough endoplasmic reticulums. And without ribosomes, it is known as the smooth endoplasmic reticulums. It forms a connection between the nucleus and the plasma membrane. Function: it forms a supportive framework of the cell. It helps in synthesis of proteins. It helps in transport of substance within the cell. So hence what we call intracellular transport. Intracellular transport. And during cell division, it helps in formation of new cells. Then we move on to Golgi bodies, or what we call the Golgi apparatus. It was first discovered by Camillo Golgi, hence the name Golgi. We notice that Golgi apparatus is very complex, sac-like structures consisting of laminae, what we call the paratha-looking things like one on top of the other, and it is found in eukaryotic cell, both plant as well as in animal cell, except in the RBCs. Except in the RBCs. Function, synthesis and secretion of many materials, and involves in transport of certain material outside the cell. Then we move on to plastids. There are different types of plastids, and plastids are only found in the plant cell. The largest of the cell organelles, found only in plant cells. There are different types of plastids. One major type is known as a chloroplast. It is found only in the plant cell and helps in the photosynthesis. The other three types are, we have already discussed about chloroplast. It's responsible for photosynthesis. Then we have the leucoplast, which is a colorless plastids for storing different substances. And lastly, chromoplast. Chromoplast is concerned with color. The flowers, the fruits, the different colors in the plant kingdom is due to the presence of chromoplast. Let's have a closer look at chloroplast. It is going to be a major portion in both class 9 and class 10. When we study photosynthesis, when we study transpiration, we need to know what is chloroplast. So chloroplast contains chlorophyll, which is a pigment. It is present at the site of photosynthesis. Large, spherical, double membrane. And let's have a look inside the chloroplast. When we move inside the chloroplast, it is made up of stroma and grana. Grana are like coins stacked up one on top of each other. So they are coins one on top of each other. And these coins together are known as thylakoids. So grana is made up of coins which are known as thylakoids. And each and every grana is connected with other granas across. And you see my dot on the